Hello, fellow members of the Midnight Society. Welcome back to another episode review from the show Are You Afraid of the Dark? Last time, we covered The Tale of the Hunted, an Andy story about a girl who gets turned into a wolf to teach her a lesson about why hunting is bad. Tonight's narrative, from Quinn, is about a goth teen who goes looking for vampires and, unfortunately for him, finds one. Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call this Season 6, Episode 8, The Tale of Vampire Town. In case you find yourself saying, hey, Vampire Town isn't Episode 8, well, you might be right. I've been reviewing the episodes in the American release order according to IMDb, which has Vampire Town listed as Episode 8. However, when I was looking up some cast info, I noticed that the air date was listed as October 8th, 1999. The previous episode aired on March 27th, so I knew something was off. It looks as though The Tale of the Wisdom Glass should have been next, as it aired on April 3rd. I'm not sure where Vampire Town fell in the season, but it looks as though it may have aired as a Halloween special. In any event, that's why my review order is off. Now, on with the show.
Transylvania, here we come.
We open on the rest of the gang at the campfire, wondering if Quinn is going to show up or not. Apparently, he was involved in a physical altercation at school. No one is really sure, but the speculation causes Megan to say,
why'd he start a fight? And that's the kind of thinking that makes me nuts. How come whenever something nasty goes down, I take the heat?
Because you got real Frank energy, bruh. I don't know what to tell you. You don't want to be accused of starting mischief? Change your attitude. Also, I'm fully aware of how much like an old man I sounded just then. Starting mischief? What the f*** was that about? Quinn says his story is about this very situation.
It's about a guy who's a little different. That's the way my guy likes it, until he gets into trouble. And the only person who believes in him is the one person he should fear the most.
Well, then it's probably not this exact situation, is it?
Don't worry about it.
The tale begins on a stormy night. A gentleman is trying to head home from the funeral parlor when the phone rings. It's his wife reminding him to pick up milk on his way. She should have reminded him to not be our first victim, but he hears a noise in the back and goes to investigate, so he's dead. He finds some tools knocked on the floor near a body prep table, and while he kneels down to pick them up, this happens. Are you serious right now? Why did you rip his shirt open other than to reveal the cross? I mean, you know the neck is accessible above the collar. And that was the world's tiniest crucifix. You couldn't withstand a little discomfort for your favorite snack? Worst vampire ever. We transition to someone writing with a fancy pen. However, when we see what's on the page, it's obvious that it's just been typed in a fancy font. We also get some voiceover explaining our upcoming plot.
Tonight I arrive in Wisteria, the fabled vampire town. Could it be that Dreyfus, the greatest vampire of all, has returned?
Dreyfus? Like Richard Dreyfus? No, that's silly. Alfred Dreyfus, the French army officer wrongfully convicted of being a German spy in 1894. I know you all know the story. No, that can't be it either. Julia Louise Dreyfus? I mean, she could be a vampire. Coincidentally, she is the fifth cousin 4 times removed of Alfred Dreyfus, but, I mean, I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know. My point is, Dreyfus is a terrible vampire name.
Jerry, he lives next door to me.
Jerry the vampire.
We find out that the person writing the journal is what I'm guessing is a young Chris Angel, and we're all about to be mind-freaked.
I will do everything in my power to meet him.
Dad, take it easy.
This pretentious little twat is Adder, and if you're thinking, he looks familiar, that's because he's been on Are You Afraid of the Dark before. This season, in fact, as the boy who got trapped in the tree that likes to play board games. That's right. This is Nathaniel from The Tale of the Forever Game, and I always like to go back to this idea. These are kids telling stories to each other, and so when they reuse actors, I always picture that Quinn is telling the story and he's describing this character, and someone's like, what's he look like? And he's like, you remember the kid from Tucker's Story a few weeks back, the one that got trapped in the tree? And they're like, yeah. He's like, he looks exactly like that, but if he shopped at a Hot Topic.
Hey, whoa.
Adder is on a road trip with his parents. His mother says it's lunchtime and gives him a sandwich, to which he responds,
You know I only eat red meat. If I'm going to hunt vampires, then I need to think like a vampire.
Yeah, but you don't need to eat like one. I already want this kid to slip and fall on a steak. Anyway, he says that he doesn't think vampires eat peanut butter before doing this. Okay, stop. From a filmmaking perspective, I understand why the shot is here. It's so the audience can read the line on the cover about Dreyfus. The problem is with the way Adder is reading the magazine. Number one, that's just too close to his face. And number two, his eye line is right on the spine of the magazine. There would be nothing there to read if he could even see through the sunglasses to begin with.
That's what we're here to find out.
Adder's on a family trip and got to pick the location, the town of Wisteria, aka Vampire Town. Adder's dad really wants to go to an NFL game, but Adder's mother says it was Adder's call. When they arrive at the inn, Adder uncorks a small glass bottle. It releases an odor that makes his parents retch. They ask what the smell is, and he tells them.
Raven's blood, nightshade and mandrake, a vampire delicacy from Romania.
It's quite the cocktail. Yeah, you know, if you're into that sort of thing. Adder's dad seems frustrated with his son and exits the car. Adder climbs up front and asks his mother,
Why does he always make fun of me?
Because you make it so easy. Look, it's okay, everyone. I'm allowed to make fun of him. Okay, I dated a goth girl in high school, and I myself played Vampire the Masquerade, which I'm pretty sure makes me goth adjacent. So I think I'm in the clear. Look, I don't make the rules, all right? Anyway, Adder says that he's sorry he's not the son his parents want him to be, to which his mother says,
All we want is for you to be happy.
What? Caring? I think you guys filmed the wrong script. This is Are You Afraid of the Dark, where the parents are divorced, dead, or absentee. I'm afraid I'm going to have to mark this in your permanent record. Anyway, Adder's mom gets ready to head inside, but he refuses to go with her.
Not till after sunset.
Right. Gotta think like a vampire.
What? That makes no sense. Firstly, a vampire wouldn't be out during the day unless this were the Buffy or Blade universe and they were wearing sunblock and had blackout windows on their car. Second, if a vampire were out during the day, they sure as shit wouldn't refuse to go indoors until after dark. Dusk is their dawn. Night is when they go outside. Unless this is some kind of backwards universe where vampires are allergic to darkness.
Oh, what a beautiful day. The sun on my skin. I do hope the clouds don't come out. Renfield, I'm going to take a dip. Will you care to join me? I might even bite a shark. That's right, it's about time the great white got taken down a peg.
Inside the inn, Adder's dad rings the desk bell, and we get some immediate red flags.
Someone should open a window.
We never open the curtains. Sunlight damages our antiques.
Damages the antiques? Yeah, right. This dude is a vampire. I'd bet money on it. Adder's dad asks what's with the town being filled with vampires, to which the innkeeper says,
Do you believe in vampires?
Of course not.
Neither do I.
What was that reaction? I mean, he might as well have said,
We heard there was a vampire attack last week.
I'm not a vampire, you're a vampire. The innkeeper asks Adder's parents to not spread rumors about vampires. He claims the citizens of Wisteria have been dealing with it for years. Well, it's probably because you're a vampire. Anyway, the sun sets and Adder finally comes inside, where he meets the innkeeper.
I wouldn't fool around in that getup if I were you.
And just why not? The Matrix came out earlier in the year. Little Neo here is just hoping to attract his Trinity. Also, quick follow-up question. Will there be any other kids in the episode? Because we're currently at a 4-to-1 adult-kid ratio, which is quite unusual for this show. Adder demands to see the catacombs. The innkeeper says that they've been closed for years. He then asks why Adder is so interested in the catacombs, to which Adder replies,
Let's just say I have an appointment with Destiny.
Adder, it's pronounced Trinity. Destiny's the name of a stripper. So I've heard. The innkeeper calls Carl, the guy from the opening of the episode, to ask him if he got a look at what attacked him. Okay, I see what's going on here. Everyone's going to think that Adder is a vampire. Well, except for Stanley here, who is definitely a vampire. Oh, and we learn the innkeeper's name is Stanley when he calls Carl. Not sure which is a worse vampire name, Stanley or Dreyfus.
Why are you so interested?
Later that night, Adder sneaks into the catacombs via a hidden entrance in the inn that he read about, which causes him to disturb some bats on strings. Once inside, Adder flips on a handy light switch and checks out some skeletons before venturing further. Unbeknownst to him, he is being followed by Stanley and Carl, both armed with stakes. Deeper in the caves, Adder discovers the stone sarcophagus of the infamous Dreyfus, which has a wooden stake somehow piercing the stone right about where the heart would be if a body were inside. Probably just a weird design aesthetic, because there's no way a human drove a wooden stake through stone to incapacitate the vampire inside. Anyway, Carl and Stanley confront Adder, accusing him of being a vampire, which causes him to... Aside from waking up a possible centuries-old vampire, what was the point of that? The exit was right behind you and they weren't able to follow you through it. Throwing that at them did nothing. This episode has a lot of those because we needed it for our story moments, and I am not a fan of that. Anyway, let's meet this Dreyfus, who I assume is going to be a sexy vampire. Excuse me, sir, could you get out of the way? We're expecting Dreyfus. He's so hot right now. Who is this catacomb crackhead anyway? Oh. Okay. Quick follow-up. Who did your glamour shots for that magazine cover? Because they are a miracle worker.
No. I'm in Milano on Friday, Paris on the weekend, and then New York to discuss my gallery opening.
Dreyfus tries to bite Adder, but gets disoriented by a camera flash, which allows Adder to escape. Adder encounters Carl and Stanley again and tries to convince them that he is a vampire hunter. They don't believe him based on his appearance, forcing him to flee once more. Dreyfus comes after Adder again, but Adder manages to escape into the funeral home via a vent. A vent into the catacombs? How would that have gone undiscovered? You know the amount of insects and pests that would be in your business from that vent?
Show me.
Adder finds his way into the body prep room, but hears Carl and Stanley approaching. He hides under a sheet when the two enter the room.
You're right. He came up through here. That's how he nearly got you the other night.
I mean, you would know because you're the one that attacked him. Anyway, the two split up and leave the room. Adder makes a run for it, but gets cornered by the two men in another room. He tries to convince them that he's not a vampire by showing that he casts a reflection in the mirror. They're still not buying it and are about to stake him when this happens. How did Carl immediately recognize Dreyfus? Even if you're familiar with images of him, you would never guess this is that person. Anyway, Stanley flees the room. Dreyfus prepares to enjoy a Carl-flavored Gushers fruit snack when Adder lures him away with his special vampire cocktail. Dreyfus takes the bait, which results in his downfall. What in the world of shitty CG was that? The scale of his head was no longer in proportion with his body and also seemed to float around on his shoulders. They do manage to stick the landing with something a little more practical, though. With Dreyfus dead, Carl thanks Adder for saving his life. He assumes that Dreyfus is the one that attacked him the other night, but we all know that's not the case. He does give a bit more insight into Wisteria, though.
There are dozens of vampires buried down below. We don't usually have problems, but every so often...
If y'all know there's vampires in the catacombs, why not have a crew go down there and burn every single body to ash? Anyway, later that morning, Adder's parents come outside to be greeted by an Adder who has ditched the eyeliner. Everyone appears to have had some growth. Adder's dad is ready to go check out the catacombs with him, citing that it's still weird, but if he's into it, then who is he to judge? Adder is glad to hear it, but proposes an alternate plan.
I thought thought maybe we could use those jet tickets.
Adder heads back into the inn to thank Stanley for not saying anything about last night to his parents. He also gifts him a bottle of his blood cocktail in case Stanley runs into any more vampires, and even though Carl already told him that the town has many vampires buried in the catacombs, he asks if Dreyfus just woke up last night, who attacked Carl the week before? To which Stanley responds,
I was hoping people would think it was you. I hope you like Vampire Town, because you'll be staying here a long, long time.
Oh no, Stanley's a vampire, I'm so surprised. This does bring up an interesting question, though. Stanley doesn't stick around to help Dreyfus, nor did he ever venture down into the catacombs to free Dreyfus, so did Stanley drive that stake into Dreyfus's sarcophagus so that he'd be the only vampire in town? It's an interesting idea that we didn't get to explore. Also, if this story is mirroring Quinn's real life, did you murder a kid at school today?
It's like, I'm guilty till proven innocent.
Back at the Midnight Society, everyone takes turns apologizing to Quinn for assuming the worst of him. Everyone except for Tucker, who knew better.
Who did start the fight?
I did. But hey, the guy deserved it. He nabbed my lunch.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
That's 'cause you're a smart guy, just like me.
And he's a bit of a tool, just like you. Now for the review. I'm a little mixed on this one. While I have some issues with the execution of it, there's also a lot of things done really well. The plot is a bit iffy, but the makeup was really excellent, and the acting was solid, which, one would expect when you cast almost entirely adults.
We've been fighting those rumors for years.
The settings were outstanding for a change. I loved the catacombs. While it took us some time to get there, we spent a lot of time in them, and they looked great. The skeletons added a nice touch. The funeral home and the inn were also good set pieces for the story. We don't spend much time in either, but they did add to the creepy vibe.
This place isn't so bad after all.
The story. It's a victim of the short run time. While I enjoyed the opening vampire attack, we probably should have cut that to get to our main character quicker. He gives so much exposition and voiceover already that he could have easily included a line about a supposed recent attack on the funeral home director. That way the audience is just as much in the dark as Adder about whether vampires exist or not. I think that also would have made the twist at the end hit harder. Having a couple more characters wouldn't have hurt that either. Maybe another teenager? Nickelodeon in your teen horror show? Kids watching the episode probably wouldn't have seen the twist coming, but I saw it from a mile out. We have 5 adults in the episode. Carl was the victim, Adder's parents are automatically in the clear, and Dreyfus doesn't get woken up until mid-episode, which just leaves Stanley, the guy running the inn with the blacked-out windows. 1 or 2 more characters could have thrown the suspicion off of him. I also would have loved some more lore on Wisteria itself. I mean, the idea of a town above some vampire-filled catacombs is interesting, but there just isn't time to explore it here.
Sorry, Mr. Lugosi.
The scares. I think the scares are okay in this one. A breath of fresh air this season, actually. We get a number of jump scares, which are always a cheap tactic, but effective. Dreyfus himself doesn't come across all that threatening, since his every move appears to be a struggle, but he is unpleasant to look at. Someone was like, what if Doc Brown from Back to the Future and Freddy Krueger had a love child? It's a great makeup.
I'm gonna be famous.
The acting in this episode was good. Adder is great at playing the pretentious goth teen who is clearly putting up a front. I love the moments when he breaks and says something normal before getting back into character. He also shows some appropriate fear and concern when he realizes that Carl and Stanley think he's a vampire.
Yeah, I guess I did.
The adult acting in this episode is also good. This section is probably going to be longer than normal since this episode was all adults. Adder's dad shows appropriate frustration trying to understand his son's oddities. Adder's mother is excellent at showing the same frustration, but mixed with the understanding of a parent trying to take interest in what their child is into. Dreyfus is barely in the episode and is covered in makeup, but his weakened vampire physicality was solid. Carl does a decent job of showing fear mixed with apprehension in the moments where Adder is trying to convince them that he's not a vampire. Stanley is an excellent villain. If you weren't actively looking for the signs, his performance would convince you that he's just a nervous innkeeper that believes his new guest is a vampire.
People believe what they want to.
Quinn, it's not a great story, but I liked more of it than I didn't, so the tale of Vampire Town meets the approval of the Midnight Society. The Midnight Society members poll on this one was, at the time of recording this video, 90% in favor of with only 10% against, so my ruling stands. Congratulations, Quinn, and, you know, if you did kill a guy today, have Tucker introduce you to his older brother. He's a guy who knows a thing or two about disappearing a body.
We'd appreciate it if you wouldn't spread silly rumors.
Thank you to my patrons financially supporting the channel on Patreon: Jimmy Purcell, Rick Maxwell, Sean Hart, Jay Booth, Tony Ebers, Eric Gorski, EC, J.R. Green, Emilio Flores, AJN, and Andy Exiled. If you want early access to videos as well as bonus behind-the-scenes content, you can join my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Check it out at patreon.com/jackofallnerds.
It's no big deal.
I want to thank the following Midnight Society members for participating in this episode's polls. Is that Raven's blood with just a hint of nightshade and mandrake? Oh! Just like Mama Vampire used to make back in Romania. The names are on the screen. Where are you hiding, my little bloodshot? I want to get white girl wasted off you. What's this? One bloodshot. Two bloodshots. Three bloodshot. Okay, 3 is too much. I'm a lightweight. I'm simply buzzing right now. What did you think of Quinn's story? Did you see it as a kid? If you were a vampire hunter, would you wear the eyeliner or no? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to check out the next episode on the tale of the Wisdom Glass. Until then, are you afraid of the dark?
Kane, I saw. It's over.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and a share. Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon to be notified when more of these videos go up. Peace out, y'all.